Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm the Gamer Guy, and today is gonna be a bit of a shorter video, a bit more of a random video, nothing too crazy. I just wanted to go ahead and quickly commentate over a couple of gameplays that I just got today, because after I finished the later game that I'm going to talk about, I kind of realized a couple of different things, at least in my mind. I might not be making any sense. I'm just kind of saying this as I go, because I noticed it like right after I finished. And it was probably because of the guys in voice chat and what they were talking about or whatever, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Right now, I just kind of want to talk about this first game, what was going on, how things were set up, because obviously, like, if you were watching the last stream that I did, I said that I don't really play Call of Duty with a headset, especially like not nowadays anymore. Even though I do have a headset and it does work and it technically would be beneficial for me to use it, I don't. I choose not to, and that probably is a reason why I was so upset for this first game with the P90, but I'll get into a little bit more detail later. So I'm just going to go ahead and hop straight into it. So first thing that I want to do is just kind of preface what was going on with me, what led to like this whole thing in this first game on Shoot House. This is in the Shoot House 24/7 playlist, so kind of like the Sweat playlist. Obviously, I was volunteering myself to play in here. I have been ever since the map came into the game. But honestly, it is a little bit more fun than having to just kind of run around on the huge maps and not really see any action. I really enjoy just constant action, whether it's annoying or not. But I was just not in a good mindset during these couple games leading up to this one that you're watching right now. So I did. This is the same day that I finished the stream. I took a little bit of time off from the game afterwards, you know, and then I took a short nap, came back on, and I wasn't really, you know, thinking of anything in particular. I was just trying to have a good time. I wasn't like trying to let anything get to me as I was in that stream. But something just kind of felt off. I don't know what it was. It might just be because like I just woke up. It might be just because I'm subconsciously just really tired of this game and, you know, kind of like all the weird imbalances and stuff that you have to put up with. As an above average player, I'm not saying that I'm like God tier or anything. But I think I am kind of a fairly above average player, because, you know, you run into like some of the more casual players and, you know, they're clearly not as good. And that's not to say that, like, you know, like I'm not trying to protrude any negative like opinions towards them or anything, because we all play Call of Duty, we all play it to have fun, and, you know, that's kind of the real reason that we all play it regardless of skill level. But, you know, I think the part that bugs me is that because I believe that I am better mechanically and everything, even though it may not be true in some certain scenarios, I just get extremely pissed off when I should have won an engagement and I lost because of something in terms of the game that just did not lean in my favor. So I think that's kind of like what was going on with this game. So I'll try to point out a couple different things as they're happening. The first thing that I guess I could mention is the fact that the P90 is an off-meta weapon. Not a lot of people are using it. It does pop up in lobbies from time to time, but, you know, it's not the gun that you see most often. Obviously, the guns that you're going to be seeing the most often are the M4, still the 725 for some reason. I've run into a decent bit of those tonight. And then, you know, as far as SMGs, it's probably going to be like the MP5 or the MP7. You know, I've actually been seeing a lot more use of the car recently instead of the Mark II, which I think the Mark II is better than the car. But, you know, that's whatever. The P90, like, I think my first problem with it is that it's just so inconsistent with its damage. And I don't know what it is. I seriously don't know what it is. You know, I think it is kind of because, like, thanks to Exclusive Ace doing some testing with some of the weapons already, it's obvious that Infinity Ward did multiple, or has a decent amount of different multipliers on the character models in game. So like if you're shooting someone in the leg, that's probably, let's just gonna say, do like 0.9 damage, or if you shoot them in the arm, that's gonna do 1, and then if you shoot them in the torso, it's gonna do 1.13, let's just say, and then obviously you have the head at 1.4, 1.5, or whatever, because Infinity Ward decided to go with the higher headshot multipliers this year, which I'm all for it. I love it, but it's because of those like multiple multipliers, for lack of a better phrase, that makes the guns feel inconsistent. I don't know if you've seen it in the gameplay a couple times, but there's multiple instances where I'm shooting at someone and I can kill them fairly quickly, with the multiple headshots or whatever. So 2-3 headshots for the 3-shot kill, or if I shoot them in the body at a bit of a longer range, I can hopefully get like the 4 or 5-shot kill with those headshots. Sometimes it works, but the fact that the arms have a multiplier, the legs have a multiplier as well, that dips the damage below a certain number of points, that it is going to take an extra number of shots to kill, which I feel like it's more prevalent on the SMGs, because I think the SMGs have those greater amount of different multipliers, which doesn't really make sense to me, especially considering that the 5.7 uses, or I say 5.7, but the P90 and the 5.7 pistol, even though it's not in the game, they do use similar, they do use the exact same cartridge, 5.7. That's what it's called. The P90 is just an automatic SMG version of the 5.7. So, and it doesn't make sense because it's not a 9mm cartridge, which, theoretically, I'm not a gun guru, but logically to me, it would make sense that it's a little bit of a larger round, so it would have a little bit of an easier time, dealing damage. It shouldn't be as inconsistent. And I think that's another reason why the M4 is just so prominent, because it uses the all-around 5.56 rifle ammunition. That's literally run-of-the-mill, average. Mostly every rifle uses it. And the fact that I feel like the attachment selection on the M4 is so diverse, it also opens up the combinations for basically perfect aim on the M4, which, I have the compensator, an angled grip, stippled grip, the aim down sight stock, and the reflex sight, which to me that is literally the perfect combination. There's minimal to no recoil, at least for close range. I get the clear sight picture with the GI unit, I think it is, or GI infantry, I don't know. Reflex sight. And, the compensator and angled grip that I have work together to decrease horizontal and vertical recoil, which is perfect, and stippled grip for faster ADS time and sprint out time, coupled with the faster ADS time for the stock. So, and I guess that's going to be kind of leading into the last game that I'm going to be showing you all, because after I finished that last P90 game on Shoot House, I just decided to, like, screw it, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to use a different gun, see how much easier it is. And, I just went into the realism mosh pit because I did not know what to do at that point. So obviously, because I was a little bit upset at this point, and I wanted at least a bit more of a consistent gun, I ended up taking the M4, which is what I was talking about previously. And, with realism, I've said multiple times that I really do like realism, because it has the one-shot kill potential for the head, and the fact that, for some reason, enemies are just more unaware of their surroundings because there is no HUD. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear in the background my teammates complaining about how they can't really tell when they kill people or what's on their HUD or how much ammo they have, whatever. But to me, that's not really that big of an issue because, with how aggressive I play, obviously I die constantly more than I wish. So I don't really ever need to worry about ammo. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, there is a white dot that appears when your field upgrade is ready. So I figured that out fairly quickly. And my only kind of gripe with it is that, at some instances, the blue circles that go above your enemy's head kind of confuses me if there's an enemy standing like right in front of me and my teammates like through the wall right behind them technically, so the blue circle's over an enemy, and I won't end up shooting them because I don't think that that's an enemy. So that's just kind of a random thing. But you know, this is a normal domination game. I wasn't really, you know, getting pissed off at all because it's an M4. It's easy mode, literally. And kind of like how I was mentioning earlier, I don't think I'm the greatest player, but I do think I'm an above average one because I have been getting multiple kills. And I finished the game with 41 kills, and I think the guy below me had 26 or something, so a little bit under half. But, you know, it just puts into perspective how the weapon balancing is still kind of an issue in this game, even though, like, some of us still aren't really that upset about it anymore ever since the 725 got nerfed. But the M4 really is just the best overall weapon in this game, I think. It's very consistent, you know, and that goes for every Call of Duty, honestly. If there's an M4 style weapon, it's usually going to be the best one just because it's the best all-around, most consistent one. But the problem was, or the thing about it was, in those older Call of Duty games, people who were better at the game could use off-meta guns and still do very well. Now with, you know, kind of the whole thing that, you know, Modern Warfare has done with aiding lesser skilled players, making it easier to kill, whatever, like, we've all talked about it. If you're involved in the community, we have all talked about the same points. But, you know, it just makes the M4 that much more viable because of how consistent it is. And it just shows that with an above average player using an average gun, you can still dominate extremely well. You know, I don't know the exact score of this game. It'll pop up at the end, but I know that we did win by a fairly big margin. You know, I'm trying not to sound egotistical, but it is kind of the truth. I did have, I believe, the most captures. I'm not sure about the most defends, and obviously the most kills, nearly double. But, you know, because I was an above average player in this lobby, we did end up winning, and, you know, it was because of the M4 and its imbalances. And, you know, like, the map style of Shoot House, because of its small 3-lane design, that makes it very formulaic, it makes it predictable, and I love that with Call of Duty maps because that means players can get a sense of control. And obviously, if there's a better player than me in the lobby, I start getting annoyed because of how much better they are with holding control of the map. But, you know, that's part of being good at the game. That's part of being good at the game. You know where to position yourself. You know how to hold angles. You know how to hold a position. Not camping. There's a difference between holding position and camping. And, you know, it just kind of puts into perspective how, like, different Modern Warfare acts with the people that are playing it. And, like I said before, the weapon balancing is kind of an issue because I don't think I would have been able to perform this well in this game if I was not using the M4. I seriously don't think I would have. Yeah, obviously, I've been getting a lot of headshots in this game, which realistically with any gun, it's going to be a one-shot headshot. But, you know, there could have been some, like, very specific instances where I didn't win a fight, like right before in front of me right there, you probably saw. I don't think I probably would have won that with the P90. But, you know, there's just, I don't know, man. It puts into perspective, like, just how you can feel about this game. And, you know, there's just things that really kind of just aren't in favor of the good players sometimes. And, you know, I can't really complain about it because obviously with the recent patch that literally just came out for the game, I think it's 1.09. According to Ashton, the community manager for Infinity Ward for us, she put on Twitter, this is the quote-unquote big update that we have all been waiting for. And to me, that means multiplayer overhaul, loads of balancing for the weapons, hopefully like another map or so. They did add some Spec Ops stuff, but honestly, Spec Ops is just so broken, I'm not even going to bother with it. And, you know, some other bug fixes. To me, that's not really that big of an update. It's doing, like, the same thing as a normal update that you all have been doing, if not less, honestly. Because there wasn't any weapon balancing. It says that it's essentially nerfed the SCAR. At least that's what I'm getting from the wording from the patch notes. But according to Exclusive Ace, yet again, there wasn't even a noticeable change at all, at least on console with 60 FPS. So literally no weapon balancing. It was basically just all bug fixes and adding stuff to Spec Ops, which, like I said before, is broken, and I'm not going to touch it, both in terms of difficulty and functionality. So there's just so many things. And I know that I'm already kind of running the video a little bit long, but I've basically kind of gotten the point across that I want to. It's just like I sat here after the game. My teammates will call it out. I'll fast forward for you guys so I don't waste any more of your time once I'm done commentating here. But you know, I kind of sat there after realizing, like, yeah, this M4 just kind of made it stupid easy. Like I was actually having a decent time because I was doing so well. But you know, it was just like, wow, like I don't know, the difference that one gun can make and one mode can make, essentially, I guess, if you want to also include that in here. Because tactical realism I love for the one-shot headshot, but I also kind of love for the no HUD thing. But you know, whatever. I'm literally kind of rambling on at this point, so I'm not really gonna waste any more time. I think I've gotten my point across. I guess if any of you want to just ask me more stuff in the comments, go ahead. But I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and let you all listen to these guys.
41 kills. Holy fuck! I know. It's nuts.
Reload.
Fucking that gamer guy. Look at this guy.
Taking fire.
The fucking stone camping fun. Yeah, with the M4, real good.